Okay, like I was saying, they know that the fans are the core base, are the core, are literally the heart. They're the core. They're the center of that world, of those characters, and of that franchise. And that it's our money that supplies them to do this. So I'm pretty sure they know that they need to eventually let us know what's going on. And you can have people come out and say, I'm done with the comic because this is, bullshit, this is BS. That is true. That is true, but can you really be done with something if you don't know the whole story? You see, and again, getting back on topic, this is why I feel Ian Flynn acts the way he does. Because his hands are literally, tied. He can't do anything. He can't break free of being tied up, of having his hands tied up. He can't do it. He can't break it. He can't have it cut loose or broken loose yet until he gets the nod from whoever's in charge to finally break loose and do what he has to do. And that's why I feel he's a little frustrated. That's why I feel he's said what he did to TSSZ. And that's why he's not communicating as much with people at DeviantArt, at the Sega forums, at Sonic Stadium, or anywhere else, or even at his own forums. And it's not because he's busy and all that. I mean, he does find time out, even at his forums, and at DeviantArt to talk, but he doesn't talk as much as he used to. And to me, it's because there's so much going on, and basically it's the same thing over and over and over again that people are asking him. And he's getting frustrated. And when I read this, I'm thinking he's frustrated. He's tired of it. And, I've given my opinion as to what I feel the settlement's going to be when it's all said and done. I pretty much feel that there's a possibility that the characters are going to come back. The characters are going to be used again. But with the agreement that that Ken Penders will get paid for, the stories and stuff, for the stories and situations that the characters were used in after he left. I'm pretty sure he'll get paid for that. And he'll get paid for when they get used again. But also in return, that a lot of the characters, if not the storylines and arcs that he's done, all kind of be part of the continuity. All become part of the continuity. I mean, Ian Flynn, when he said that there were going to be changes coming, and he's telling people to be mature about it, again, and everybody pretty much can read that for themselves. I'll provide a link to that in my video. There's a link provided to that in my other video where I talk about it. But he pretty much sounds like to me, he's, again, from what he I'm not going to, again, you got to read these for yourself, but it sounds like to me he's getting frustrated. And I'm guessing that whatever changes are coming, it sounds like to me that some of these changes may not be exactly what he's looking forward to. Now, I'm sure he's trying to give it a positive spin, and that's great. Trying to give it a positive outlook on these changes, and that's great. But it kind of sounds like to me, in my personal opinion, that these are changes he's not looking forward to. And it's not because of the possibility of he may not be able to use the characters. I think it's the possibility that he will use the characters, but it's going to be in a way he doesn't want to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like I said before, I feel Ian Flynn's going to probably end up having to write things like, say, the future storylines that everybody has pretty much said is a possible future. He's going to have to write those future storylines as the future. And he's not looking forward to that. And there may be stories down the line where, in my opinion, that part of the settlement, if this is where they're going, if this is part of the settlement, and I'm like Tross, and I'm like anybody else, I don't know everything, but I'm just giving my opinion. I feel that a lot of Ken's characters may get some stories focused on them in the near future, if this kept on board, or after everything is after the dust is cleared and everything. Those characters, I feel, they'll still be, if R2 will still be able to use them, Ian Flynn, I got a feeling, is going to end up writing stories for them as part of the settlement. So in other words, you know, you'll have, let's say, a Sonic Universe arc focusing on Julie Sue. Who knows? Hold on for a second. I'm sorry about that, folks. I had to let the cat out of the garage and into my room. But anyway, like I was saying, my opinion, because like I said, I'm like anybody else. I don't know what's going on, but this is my opinion. I feel that the comics in the future may have stories, mostly like Sonic Universe, may have stories focused on certain Pender characters. Like Julie Sue, she may end up getting an arc. She may end up getting a 4-issue arc for all we know. You know, characters like Hershey may end up getting one, or Jeffrey St. John, after the dust is settled, you know, may end up getting one. You know what I'm saying? If that's what happens. Again, I don't know what's going on either, but I feel those could be the changes that Ian Flynn's talking about. And when I read what he talks about here, you know, when I read those changes, and again, you could watch the video, the link to the article will be provided there. It sounds like to me that these are changes that he's trying to put a positive outlook on, but these might be changes he's not looking forward to. And these might be due to the settlement. Again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So we'll just have to wait and see. But again, it sounds like to me that Ian Flynn is frustrated. And I can understand where he's coming from. Again, as I mentioned in the first video, I've been frustrated with certain things before, personally. But again, the thing is, you know, I'm sure that as soon as this whole thing comes to pass, the frustration will leave him. But I think it's not just the frustration of this, it's the fact that he's got to sit down, literally. I mean, literally, he's got to sit down at his computer and literally go, well, this is not a computer, but he literally has to be on his computer going like, go like this, like, oh great. He has to pull up the story and go like, oh great, I got to take this part out, I got to put something different, ah! You know, that's how he probably feels. And I don't blame him. Because, I'll be honest, this whole thing is BS. You know, people like Ian Flynn shouldn't have to be put through this. Nobody should. I mean, if you're writing for a comic book, you should not be put through these situations. But again, I believe it's all due to frustration. And I know how he feels about that. Whether I like what he does or not, whether anybody else likes what he does or not, you've got to feel for the guy being frustrated. Now, again, I'm positive of what could happen because when I take a look at the Sonic Encyclopedia, it has Julie Sue in there. It has Saffron in there. It has Jeffrey St. John in there. You know, it has the echidnas, you know that. And a lot of people will say, well, you know, well, not a lot of people, but I have asked the question that, you know, shouldn't the encyclopedia have been edited as well, if, you know, because of this whole situation? And people have told me, well, the encyclopedia was in the works even before this happened. That might be true, but even before it was happening, they should have been able to edit it if they're editing now a lot of things that are happening. You know what I'm saying? They should have edited then like they're doing now. So that tells me, with the fact that you have Julie Sue in there, with the fact that you have the Echidna Populace in there, Saffron, Jeffrey St. John, even Hershey makes an appearance in a way, if you will, that it tells me there's a possibility that these characters will come back. So, and if I'm wrong, but I feel they're going to come back. I mean, they wouldn't have brought out the encyclopedia with them in there if that was the case. If, you know, if this whole situation was going to, of future issues like now, in the recent months, was the case. I mean, even Robbo the Hedge, I think, gets an article. What does that tell you? So to me, I think something positive is coming out of this. But I think the reason Ian's reacting the way he did to TSSZ, and the reason it kind of, when I read what he says about the changes, it sounds like he's not really looking forward to these changes as much as he's letting on. That, because he is trying to put a positive outlook on it, and that's good. That I think, honestly, you know, something good's going to come out of this. But, you know, it may not be, you know, and, you know, not everybody may like the outcome. Honestly, not everybody may like what's going to be done. But, hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? So, that's all I'm going to say on this. I'll provide a link in the playlist to the right, if you will, that you will see when you click on the playlist thing. It'll also be in the description boxes down below. But let me know what you guys think about this, and video response if you like. But that's all I'm going to say about it, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.